Hey everybody, and welcome back to my kitchen. On today's episode of Cooking with P, we're going to be making crispy chicken katsu bowls. Yum! Now this is going to be the very first time I'm ever trying this recipe, and it is from Half Baked Harvest, so I will be sure to link her recipe and the website below. Now, I think this is going to be the equivalent to a chicken cutlet because we are going to drench it in some type of wash. We're gonna bread it with breadcrumbs and we're gonna fry it. Delicious. Now, I think the katsu reference or meaning comes from the Asian flavors that we're gonna be using today. Don't quote me on that. And then I'm going to top it on a bed of sticky rice. First thing we're gonna do is prep our ingredients. So throw on your apron and let's get cooking. All right, so the recipe is gonna call for 4 chicken cutlets or 2 chicken breasts. We are going to cut them in half and pound them down just to get them a little bit thinner. Some green onions, ginger. Now for panko breadcrumbs, I found this brand that I wanna try. It's Kinder's, and I've actually tried their seasonings and I love their seasonings. They're super good. We have some of their sauces, also really good. So I was really excited whenever I saw that they have their own panko blend. So the one that we're using today is Italian herb with garlic and sea salt. I hope that that's gonna go with the flavors that we're using today. We'll see, but this is what it looks like. We're gonna be using some soy sauce, crushed red pepper flakes, sesame oil, sesame seeds, and some good old honey. Now the recipe that she has does have instructions to make your own spicy mayo, but I actually am going to try this katsu sauce that I got at Kroger, and it says perfect with panko, so I think it'll be good. We'll try it. So those are gonna be our ingredients. Right now I'm gonna go ahead and measure everything. I'm gonna cut and prepare the chicken because the first thing we have to do is let it soak in all of the flavors before we cook it and before we coat it with the breadcrumbs. So let's go do that. All right, everybody. So I just went ahead and prepped the ingredients for my sauce. In here, I have 2/3 cups of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 teaspoon of sesame seeds, 2 tablespoons of green onions, and then I did go ahead and put in some red pepper flakes into the sauce. Now the next thing we're gonna do is prepare our chicken. You're gonna go ahead and place the chicken in a bowl, and her recipe does say to pour 3/4 or 3 to 4 tablespoons of the sauce in the chicken. But what I think I'm gonna do is just pour all of the sauce and let it sit for 10 minutes. The reason being is because you can use the sauce at the end for dipping or to glaze on top, but since we're gonna be using the katsu sauce, I figure I might as well just let it drench in that. One other thing I thought about, depending on how much you're making or how many people are gonna be eating, this recipe is gonna give us 4 servings. I'm only gonna be doing 2 servings. So I'm gonna be using 1 chicken breast and cutting it in half. That way I can save the other breast for tomorrow or another day, and I can just go ahead and prepare everything day of again. That way it's fresh and it won't be soggy from sitting in the fridge. So let's go ahead and get started on our chicken.
Hey guys, so just a couple of observations. I tried to cut this chicken breast in half so it wouldn't be so thick, but as you can tell, I messed up, so I ended up just having to cut these into little strips and essentially just smaller pieces to cook with. And then another thing I wanted to mention, all of the ingredients that I listed for the sauce, um, you definitely want to half all of the ingredients that I gave because I didn't realize it until the end when I made the chicken that it did come out just a bit too salty because again, that recipe was supposed to be for 4 servings, and since I'm only making 2, you definitely want to half all of the ingredients. So after I got done cutting up all of the chicken, I just went ahead and placed it in a bowl and I poured in the sauce. I definitely didn't realize my mistake until after, but here I'm putting almost all of the sauce on the chicken. Again, half all of the ingredients if you're not making servings for 4 people.
Okay, so now that the chicken has been marinating for 10 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and coat it. We're gonna go ahead and put 1 tablespoon of the panko breadcrumbs in a shallow pan, bowl, whatever you wanna use. Ooh, maybe I should. Wow, that like used up the whole entire bag. So let's actually do, okay, so I'm actually only gonna do half to start with, but again, I am using half the amount of chicken than the recipe called for, so half of the breadcrumbs. I also ended up cutting these into chicken strips instead of chicken cutlets, so that's just what we're gonna have today. And while all of that is going, I do have the stove on medium. That way, once we're done coating everything, we can just go ahead and put it into the pan. And I'm just gonna put some olive oil so it starts warming up. All right, guys, so it's finally time to taste. So I went ahead and cooked these on medium, 5 minutes on each side. Now I will say, I don't know if it was user error or what, but the breading did not really stay that well. I think next time I make it, I may try to put some flour or something to bind it a little bit better. But overall, it does look really good, really delicious. I went ahead and put some carrots, some avocado, and some sesame seeds on top. And now it's time to taste. Oh, and I did put the katsu sauce on top too, so we'll see how that tastes. Yeah, I mean, it tastes like regular chicken cutlets. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be one of my favorite recipes, but nonetheless, let's give it one more try. Yeah, it definitely tastes better with the katsu sauce. But either way, I'm definitely excited to give this one a try next time and improve it and make it a little bit better. But that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. And like always, subscribe, comment, like, and I'll see you guys next week on Cooking with P.